time I told my husband, I can't lose my mom. We need to move to Pagosa. And we loved Pagosa because we've come here on summer vacations, family holidays, family reunions. Because my papa, who is my stepdad, he was born and raised here. Okay. And so as long as my mom has been married with him, we've come to Pagosa for holidays and whatnot. And our kids, we have 5 boys, and so our boys would come and spend the summer with their grandparents, or we'd have a long summer vacation. So we spent a ton of time here. And when we were here,
so that's a little bit of Veronica Medina. Veronica Medina, she is a Republican running in the Republican primary, which the election is 19 days away. Alvin Schaaf is a Republican. This is Archuleta County Commissioner's race, District number 3. Alvin Schaaf is running against Veronica Medina. Now, you all got to go vote for Sol Sandoval. She's a working class Chicana, so she'll be sensible. She'll communicate with we the people. Sol Sandoval, she'll be just fine in U.S. Congress. So make sure you go out and vote for Sol Sandoval. Okay. Archuleta County Sheriff. So Archuleta County Sheriff, I'll dive more into Alvin and Veronica's race, but right now the details here are with Boyd Neagle and Mike LaRue. Mike LaRue, I don't know. Boyd Neagle and Mike LaRue. So Boyd Neagle, he says that they already have a Shop with the Cop program. He says he is familiar with Article 2, Section 13, which is Colorado's Second Amendment, but a little differently. Article 2, Section 13, and he also thinks that Facebook Live Fridays is a great idea. I think the Adams County Sheriff does it. Just a fantastic idea. Also, I want to ask him if he believes in a DARE program. I like DARE program. It was very smart. That was good. I like DARE. DARE is a good program. So, now, he is running against, Boyd Neagle is running against Mike LaRue. They're both Republicans in the primary, and Mike LaRue had been hired as the undersheriff Christmas Eve of 2021. Archuleta County Sheriff Rich Valdez went ahead and hired LaRue, who replaces Derek Woodman. Derek Woodman took on a new role as the county administrator, which is interesting. I don't want to be a police officer. I'd rather be an administrator. Well, that's quite the change. So, here is Mike LaRue. Now, this is a picture of him with the microphone speaking at some gathering. Now, there's another one here that's got these Mike LaRue where he's like this super athlete. Is this the same Mike LaRue? Is this like a big celebrity? This big-time celebrity? You got Rich Valdez, who's like, you know what? I'm going to have this big-time celebrity represent me. Maybe, I don't know, right? Mike LaRue. So, Mike LaRue, he says this. I value an approach based on education, training, experience, ethical practice, public stewardship, and continuous improvement. I get things done because I'm driven, determined, flexible, and disciplined. I'm a natural problem solver who enjoys finding creative and innovative approaches to solving challenges, and I feel fulfilled when I see something left even better than I found it. I have always lived with the philosophy of pushing myself outside my comfort zone, and I'm good at adapting quickly to changing conditions and have the ability to make calm and agile decisions in the field. I believe that to be a successful sheriff requires community collaboration and opportunity to synchronize the activities of all relevant stakeholders to achieve a common purpose and to foster a culture of combining efforts in effective mutual aid. I proved that I can already achieve this in my role as Commander of Emergency Management. I'm the Commander of Emergency Management. I also believe in the value of active community engagement. Building sincere relationships matters to me, and doing a job well because it means I understand and can respond to everyone's needs and expectations. If elected, I will work hard to maximize all the resources we have available to us to make Archuleta County as safe and thriving a place as possible. First and foremost, I'm a resident of Archuleta County. This is my county too, and I want to see it safe and thriving. I am proud to live and work in Archuleta County. I will continue to passionately serve my community with every opportunity I'm given. I believe I have the skills and the experience and the resilience and the energy to do this job well and to make a difference. I'd be honored to serve and protect the residents and visitors as sheriff Sincerely, Mike LaRue. Sincerely, Mike LaRue. Now, I've asked Mike LaRue a couple questions, just, on Facebook. Don't have to be like big, long paragraphs or anything. Doesn't respond. Doesn't say anything. So, I already kind of like Boyd Neagle better. Boyd Neagle is willing to answer the questions. He's talking about Facebook Live Fridays. He's talking about a Shop with the Cop program. He's familiar with some of the articles of Colorado's Constitution. Mike LaRue, he really loves himself. He really, really loves himself. Well, I'm just a badass in every sense of the word. And you can tell by my experience as a commander of emergency management. And I'd be honored to serve and protect the residents and visitors as sheriff. Boyd Neagle got stabbed by Shane French in Cortez, Texas, or Texas Street, Colorado, Montezuma, Cortez somewhere. I don't know. Boyd Neagle actually got stabbed by a guy, Shane French, and then Shane French is going to get acquitted because they said that he did it in self-defense. But here's a little article by Boyd Neagle. Okay, so you have Mike LaRue. Mike LaRue is one Republican candidate who is running against Boyd Neagle, who is another Republican candidate. And here, let me show you. I don't know if that's the same Mike LaRue or not. I mean, yeah, you're strong. Yeah, you do a lot of gym work. You got a big ego. You like yourself. I know that. Now, here is Boyd Neagle. Now, kind of, very different demeanors. He's a bigger guy. I bet you nobody would want to mess with him. He's a bigger guy, but he's not like a super duper, over the top athlete either. So he's not like in a cross fitness, and he's not like a, American Ninja Warrior. Now, you want your deputies to be American Ninja Warriors, but you want your top guy to be basically the conscience of the county. He's going to be the one that's, divides the good from the bad. He's going to be the one that it's the commissioners, if they know they're the executive, but if the commissioners don't have their shit together, then he's going to be the main guy. He's going to be the main guy in Archuleta County. So let me read what he wrote here. Since I announced my candidacy for Archuleta County Sheriff and began this journey with you in March, so many things have changed and come to light. I'm working not just to be your sheriff and to make public safety the priority, but to also change the good old boy system controlling our county government. My experience, strong leadership, and fiscal management, just a few of the skills I got that are now more important than ever to guide the sheriff's office in a new direction to make positive changes for all the citizens of Archuleta County. As a young man, I learned that my father had been in prison. Well, this was quite a shock to me because he had always encouraged my interest in law enforcement and my goal to be a police officer. After the shock had worn off, I was able to speak with him about it and asked a question that the answer would forever shape my life's calling. Sitting there with my father, I summoned the courage to ask, were you guilty? He looked at me for a few seconds and then he said, the first time, no. He continued and explained that he was barely 18 years of age and he was at a dance in his hometown in Texas. He was a good-looking boy, but from the wrong side of town. He was from a very poor sharecropping family. He was having a good time dancing. He was having a good time dancing with the girls from the right side of town. When he went to the restroom, he was followed by 3 boys from the right side of town. They advised him not to dance with their girls, and he told them not to worry about what he did. As he attempted to leave the restroom, the 3 jumped him, and after a few minutes, he walked out and he left them on the floor. He went back to dancing and enjoyed the night, but about 45 minutes later, a deputy came through the door, and then Boyd Neagle's father was arrested. And he explained that the boys, from the restroom had called the sheriff's office and said that he had beaten and robbed them in the restroom. So Boyd Neagle's father said it was very different in the 1950s in America, being from the wrong side of the tracks, being on the wrong side of the town, being from a poor sharecropping family. He was convicted and sentenced to 5 years in prison. He explained that set the course of his adult life, not the course he would have chosen. When he got out, jobs were scarce for a felon. He had few choices, and it took him many years to recover and be successful. It was a hard conversation for me at the time. And that was pretty much the only time we ever talked about it. We never talked about the other times. I don't think I was really ever supposed to know about any of it. He wholeheartedly supported my career choice, and maybe that was his way of finally getting over it. Having a son on the right side, doing what was right. All I could say is his life and situation had a profound effect on me and my career. I have learned that as officers of the law, we meet people on their worst day, and we need to be the person we needed on our worst day. I began my career in a small town in a county much like Archuleta and learned the importance of community. I experienced the joy of knowing and being a part of my community as well as its sorrows. As a young deputy working in the county, I got to know the citizens. I served and took their public safety to heart. I knew the excitement of serving and watching my fellow community members grow and prosper. I also know the sorrow that can come. I've responded to emergency calls for service where there's a major vehicle accident or disturbance, pulling up to the scene, knowing the individuals involved and praying that I was in time to help and make a difference. We've celebrated triumphs and cried over tragedies together. This is why we do this and work every day to make it better, to be better. This is why I feel being a part of the community is so necessary for our sheriff's office to truly be successful. It's the investment of oneself that produces a vested interest in the community. I've been in law enforcement for more than 26 years and have experience in many areas that include administration, investigations, narcotics, patrol, jail, training, dispatch, security, courts, school, resource, and compliance. I have supervisory experience in having served as an assistant jail administrator, corporal, and a field training officer. I teach at the Law Enforcement Academy. Wow. And have been an instructor for over 20 years, training hundreds of officers, and I know the importance of a well-trained staff. Over this time, I've taught numerous law enforcement courses at the academy level and in service training. All these assignments and duties over the years have given me the experience and skills to bring strong leadership to the sheriff's office. I will be a working sheriff, leading from the front and passing on my experience. As John C. Maxwell so eloquently puts it, we cannot lead anyone further than we have been ourselves. Who the hell is John C. Maxwell? Leadership comes from experience, and doing all the training in the world is no good without the practical experience of doing it in the real world. In my opinion, professional leadership has been lacking in Archuleta County, and as a candidate for Archuleta County Sheriff, I'm seeking your help and support if you would like to learn more about our community, about how we can begin turn things around in our community. Please visit Facebook.com, Boyd and Neagle for Sheriff, and learn more about my campaign for Sheriff. Community first, stronger together. 2019 Pagosa Springs Mayor Don Volger on the right swears in Pagosa Springs Police Department's new detective, Boyd and Neagle, prior to the April 18 Pagosa Springs Town Council meeting while Police Chief Bill Rockensock looks on. Posted on January 24th, 2022. This last article here comes from Wayne Bryant, and he says he's a write-in candidate for sheriff. So let's take him at his word. The write-in candidate for sheriff, Wayne Bryant. Let's get a little picture of him up. He's not going to be a part of the primary, but he is a part of the election and the conversation. So, Wayne Bryant, should I type in Pagosa? Yeah, looks like it. Pagosa. Pagoda? No, Pagosa. Okay, here we go. Okay. So, here is Wayne Bryant. Well, a lot has happened over the holidays. This was posted January 24th, 2022, so about 5 months ago. This is intentionally done whether we're either away or trying to enjoy the holidays with our families, even as difficult as these last couple of years have been for all of us. A secret executive session appointing Under Sheriff Derek Woodman as the county manager with no experience at a whopping $124,000 annual salary severance pay from his recent undersheriff position and a new vehicle allowance was held. In addition, his wife, who happens to be the county human resources director, was also in attendance. Can we say conflict? It just so happens Sheriff Richie Valdez, along with several deputies, were in the meeting room. Intimidation, you think? 4 days later, a lawsuit was filed against Sheriff Valdez. County Manager former Under Sheriff Derek Woodman, and several deputies and various Archuleta County commissioners and individuals. County Commissioners Alvin Schaaf and Warren Brown, former deputies, voted for Mr. Woodman for county manager. Can we say conflict? This now gives our sheriff total control of our county. He wouldn't be leaving anytime soon. Just on paper, he'll be like Obama, controlling from behind the scenes. Why would he? He finally has all his puppets in place, including judges Wilson and Frey. And now the new undersheriff, Mike LaRue, another puppet, is throwing his hat into the ring for sheriff. Coincidence? I think not. Rich Valdez can sit in his new multi-million-dollar plus home and laugh at all of us for being so stupid and complacent. This is insane. It's got to be stopped. We are now living in a totalitarian dictatorship, whether you want to believe it or not. To be honest with you, the other candidate for sheriff, Boyd Neagle, he hasn't upheld his oath of office as a town police officer either. He can talk all he wants to about supporting our constitutional rights. However, his record doesn't reflect it. So what will I do as your new sheriff? First, we must take back our county and return it to we the people. Our elected officials and judges, including our school superintendent, have all violated at will their oaths of office. They must be held accountable for this violation of the sacred trust we put in them. We are becoming a totalitarian dictatorship, and it must be rooted out. We will organize grand juries and appoint constitutional referees, not bar judges, so that we, the people, can sentence them for their crimes and regain control of our judicial system. In order to do this, and this is critical, we will deputize every able-bodied man and woman in Archuleta County to accomplish this task. We will make citizens arrest, and I will enforce them. Second, we will no longer allow or comply with unconstitutional statutes, codes, and mandates. Our Constitution was originally based on God's common law, life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness. Tell the truth and take responsibility for our actions. Third, we will no longer take orders from the state. The state is a corporation, and we will no longer support it. We will establish our own bank and put our tax dollars back into our own county. Our infrastructure is crumbling, and we will create jobs rebuilding it. The cost of a courthouse and jail, which, by the way, was voted down twice, will eventually reach $50 million or $50 millions. We can't dodge this cost now. Thanks to those that forced this down our throats, we could have easily remodeled the one for a fraction of the cost. And how do we accomplish both? We will change how the property taxes are collected. We will base them on the purchase price of your home when you purchase it at a 3 to 5% rate, depending on what it takes to manage our county and pay our debts. We will live within our budget. Fourth, a well overdue reward. When you turn 67 and have lived in your home for 20 years, you will no longer have to pay property taxes. All we ask is that you volunteer in our community, schools, parks, libraries, sheriff's department, etc. Fifth, San Juan Basin Health does not have the authority to shut down our businesses and schools with unconstitutional mandates. We will not enforce them, period. You have the right to make your own informed decisions, not unelected bureaucrats. Small businesses are the lifeline of our county, and we will support them. These are just a few of the changes we will be instituting in order to preserve our constitutional republic. I know this wouldn't be easy for any of us. The state will indeed surely intercede. However, if we are to regain our constitutional freedoms, change is inevitable. The question is, are you ready? If so, then join with us and write me in as sheriff. The sheriff has the constitutional duty to protect our constitutional rights. Together we can all stand up and take our county back. This will be our last and only chance to accomplish what God intended for us all, freedom. Thank you. My name is Wayne Bryant, writing candidate for sheriff. Contact us at AmericansAgainstFraudAndCorruption.com. I'm standing up. The question is, will you? Will you stand up? Wayne Bryant is. Are you going to stand up? I liked most of that. I got a couple problems with some of it, but overall, I like that whole thing. It's brilliant. That's genius. That's a person from the ground. That's Mike LaRue and Boyd Neagle should ignore the criticisms if they can, and look at the ideas. He's got a platform. He's got a vision. He actually has a vision, and he's going to, enforce citizens arrest. Citizens arrest are already legal in Colorado, so it's already the law. So he's already, whether he knows it or not, he's actually quite consistent with Colorado law. A lot of the stuff he's saying is the judges should be, referees, and they shouldn't be, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. So, yeah, overall, the bank, why not just borrow from ourselves? Why not just You know, we can do it ourselves. Hey, we can do it. We can help a Cinderella. There's nothing to really. So I like that Boyd Neagle, I think, a little bit more than that Michael Roux. Michael Roux is like, I'm a go-getter. I'm going to go get him, and I'm going to get him, and I'm going to go get him, and I'm going to go get him and go get him. Because I'm a go-getter. Okay, I mean, that's all good, and I like that. I like that spirit, and you do need to be able to kick ass. You probably should be one of the toughest people in town. Probably, right? But really, you just need a good, solid conscience. No right from wrong. No right from wrong, and maybe your deputies could be the warriors. I wish Boyd and Neagle, God, if you could put all three of these men together, my God, have the country humbleness of Wayne Bryant with the intelligence of the deputy, right? Of the, not the deputy, but the investigator, the detective, right? Boyd Neagle. So you have the intelligence of the detective of Boyd Neagle, and you got the humble, common sense, decency of Wayne Bryant. And then you got the, I can climb a fucking mountain and do 15 backflips and, 100 goddamn pull-ups in 13 seconds. Michael Roux. You need all those things. Put all those things together, and then you got yourself a super cop. Actually, RoboCop. If you just put in a robot and... Never mind. That's... Okay, and, yeah, so there's the beginning introduction for Archuleta County Sheriff.